Good afternoon. This is Navy Old Salt Gamer. Now, yesterday, or 2 days ago, we talked about some batch defining. For this video, I awkwardly brought some of my outside data in here. So ignore the weird wires. It's just for this video. So a couple of videos ago, we talked about defining. So I define, in this case, all the pipe analyzers, which is that hash number. If I go to pipe analyzer, there it is. That's the prefab hash. So this assigns that prefab hash to that string variable pipe analyzer. Put that Z in there. P-A-N. How did I delete the A? Anyway, now, this person yesterday wanted to talk about SBN and LBN. Now, they kind of do the same thing, and if you use SBN, you really don't need to use LBN. I will go over that briefly, but notice there's a different format. Now, SB controls all of the pipe analyzers. What if I wanted to talk to just one of my pipe analyzers, in this case, the one I have named outside, Oxy Pipe Analyzer, or my Oxygen Pipe Analyzer? What if I wanted to leave all my pipe analyzers on, but I wanted to turn my Oxy Pipe Analyzer off? SBN will do that. And the format of this is your normal hash, or your pipe analyzer, so it knows you're referring to this hash by just using pipe analyzer. But then, and let me put one below here just to show you the format, there's the device hash. Now this device hash has been set to that string using the define, so I can just put that string in there. Now the name hash, I could go out and get the name hash, but there's an easier way of doing that. I don't need to do that. That's quite a bit of work. I could just put hash, and using this format, queue the name hash by the name of the pipe analyzer. So this is a kind of a longer typing method, but it's a lot easier than running outside and getting the name hash. This automatically says, oh, I know what he's talking about. That's the hash that I'm looking for. So you put hash and know the name of what you're trying to control that you named with your labeler in parentheses and quotation marks. And then of course you got the logic type, same as we described before, and the variable. So this program right here would turn all my pipe analyzers off, and then separately turn the Oxy Pipe Analyzer, on, and turn the Oxy Pipe Analyzer off, and then I'm going to have it sleep for 10 seconds. Now, is this a useful program? No, it's just for demonstration. I want to see how this controls this. So, oops, I got to export it, sorry. Export, put that in there, turn it on, got no errors, got my suit on. Now if I run out here, and this would have been easier if I had stuff set up inside, but I just thought this would be a good way of doing it. See, now this one's on, that one's on, this one should be off. Now if I turn it on, it might stay on for a little bit, but after 10 seconds or so, it should turn it right back off. I should have set it for a shorter time. There we go. So now see, I'm controlling this one, which I have named Oxy Pipe Analyzer. The other one's just been controlled with this save batch. So, is there a use for that? Yeah, I would say if you wanted to control certain things. One of the ways, I mean, one of the ways I could tell that this is working in here, I could go to my oxygen tank monitor, and that'll switch between on and off. So I don't know. It's not, like I said, it's not a practical use of this, but it's just a demonstration. So the other two I have, say SBN, and I'm going to pause this while I type this out, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now I just did the exact same thing for my other two pipe analyzers. So if I did this, and I said sleep, I'm going to make this 15 because I got to go outside. Again, not the best of demonstrations, but just showing you how this works. So we'll confirm that. Pop that in here. Now this is another way of controlling things without using pins. Notice I didn't define any pins. Now I have 15 seconds to get out here. They should be on. And then all three of them, there they go. They turned off and they turned right back on because I've identified all three of them in that SBN series. Now, again, not a practical use of this, but it's just demonstrating the code. So, say I wanted to do something silly. We'll get rid of the SB now since you understand how that works. And we'll do sleep 2 between, sleep 2 between each one of these. This would be kind of neat if you needed to do something with LED lights, I guess. Now these should rotate. One will be on. Oh, I gotta turn them back on. Hold on, let's do that first. Edit. Let me modify this code a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so I modified this code now just to have it turn off and on in series to show you how I am using the SBN individually controlling with the name of the unit instead of all of them at once. So we'll go ahead and export this. Again, just a silly use of the code, just demonstrating how you can control each one individually instead of all of them at once with set batch or save batch. Now if I turn my light off, this should be stepping through if I did this correctly. Every 2 seconds. There you go. I'm controlling each one individually. So that is the set batch command. Now, I don't know if there's maybe somebody can tell me, I'm going to look into this real quick, but I don't know if there's an actual really good use for load batch other than not for this, not for a pipe analyzer especially. Now for things like a battery, if I wanted to analyze multiple batteries, I'm just going to go over the load batch real quick here. So let's go LBN, and I'll go over the format and I'll explain how LBN, how this works. Now this is actually loading into a register. So I'll just do R0. The device hatch is the same. Now I'm going to do P analyzer. I know how I could do this, P analyzer, but I don't have a display for it. Maybe I'll make one real quick. And now load batch. Say, okay, I'm just going to show how it works, and I'm not going to do it because I don't see me ever using load batch name. I'm sure there's a use for it, maybe for batteries, and I'll explain why in a second here. But I'm just going to say hash, we use my oxy, oxy pipe analyzer, and there we go. There we go. Now there's an extra step for, and I put it down here because it wiped it out. There's an extra variable for this. What is batch mode? So what I could do is, if you're using a battery, you could do ratio now there's 4 different batch modes. You can either write the words for the batch modes or just use a number. One would be average, so I could get the average of 2 different batteries. I could also just, that's why I don't see the use for this, because this is loading one device's hash name. Why would you need the average? I would use load batch average, and that would give you the ratio. So this would give you the average of that battery, which would be the actual reading in this case. For 1, the sum, again, why would you use load batch name for the sum when you're just doing one thing? The sum of what? If I wanted to use pipe analyzer, I could get the sum. So I could just do load batch. And I don't really, maybe somebody can tell, it says it down here, 0 sum, 1 minimum, 2 maximum, I'm sorry, average is 0, sum is 1, minimum 2, maximum is 3, and you can use a number or the word. But that describes it right there. And this is the format of it. I don't know in anything that I programmed so far where I would use this for. I just don't know. I mean, basically I would use load batch. And let me put load batch up here, see if it's the same format. No, see, I would just, if I was doing my batteries, we'll just say this is the battery instead of the pipe analyzer. I would just load batch R0 and pipe analyzer. That would be battery. Logic type ratio. Oops, I messed that up. Ratio. And say I wanted the average of all my batteries, then I would use 0. And there we go. That would, boy, I must have caps lock on. Yeah, ratio. That would give me the average charge of all my batteries. Now, why would you want the average of one of your batteries? So, I think load batch is a more practical use than load batch name, because now you're only loading one thing, unless you want to name all your batteries. But why would you do that? Maybe you have 2 different types of batteries, where you would have station batteries large, and station batteries you could, but still you got to use the device hash, so that's not going to work. I just don't see a practical use, and somebody will correct me, I'm sure, of load batch name. I would just use load batch. But there you go. Certainly, a practical use for set batch name. I could certainly see a use for that, especially if you want to just address one item of something and control it. Say in a program where you have 2 separate deep miners, and you have a program that says, how many ores do I have? If I have 500 ores, then shut off my second deep miner, because I got enough for a while, and then check it again and turn on my second deep miner, or something along those lines. Yeah, say batch name. Yeah, load batch name. somebody put in the comments a practical use for that, because I just don't see it. I just use load batch. But there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. I learned a lot about save batch name myself, but there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. There's a Navy Old Salt Gamer. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Again, tell me what you want to learn about, and we'll learn it together. And this is my Mars brutal world. That's why I am starving and dying of thirst. And the brutal settings are interesting. I'm in my next one. I might just try like brutal without the Stationeers mode, because yeah, Stationeers mode and brutal together, it's a challenge. But I don't feel like sitting here eating every 5 minutes. It's just annoying. But anyway, I'm just rambling. So there you go. Hope it helps. Let me know what you want to see next. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.